All right, guys. So, today we have some drama. We have some YouTuber beef to get into. So I've seen some of this on Twitter. I actually, I've seen some of the videos. I watched like one full video about this, and then I haven't seen a lot of the others. I've seen some things on Twitter. Basically, David Jaffe, the creator of God of War, he's now like a content creator. He does like live streams and stuff. I actually mostly know him from podcasting. I listen to Last Stand Media, which is Colin Moriarty, if you know who that is. His like podcast network. David Jaffe's on there a lot. And I'll just be honest, I'm going into this with a pro David Jaffe bias. I like him. I think that he's pretty wacky. He says some crazy stuff sometimes, but I appreciate him. I think that he's funny. I think he speaks his mind. He says what he means, and he's honest. You know, I don't ever get any like dishonest vibes from him like I do with a lot of other content creators, which I can appreciate in anybody, honestly. Even if sometimes I'll like disagree with what he says. But the gist from what I've been able to gather is that he made a video. This lady named Vara, I think her name is, responded to it. Then I think David Jaffe said that that she's stupid and that her audience only watches her because she's a pretty lady. And then I think now a lot of those people are calling him a sexist. So I've given you my biases here, and we're going to judge the situation. we're going to try to be as unbiased as possible. And also we're going to watch some of Asmongold at the end, because I want to be able to put Asmongold in the title of my video. Yes, I am that shameless. Let's get into it.
Did YouTube grifters kill?
Oh, wait, spoilers. This is the end, sorry. By the way, I think I have everything in the chronological order. We're starting with this one. Let's actually go as fast as we can, because there's a lot of videos to get through. Okay.
When you say that the gaming community ruined this game's success, I mean, you know, I don't think that's entirely fair, but I think there is a lot of truth to it. If you're EA, you've got to kind of prepare for the market wins that you're sailing into and all that.
Oh, by the way, so I guess this is a video. Did YouTube grifters kill Dragon Age? So that's the premise of this video here.
And so they should have been prepared to counter, and they weren't. Really, at this point, all that gaming community that you're talking about has done is they've made it so they've actually made games worse, which is what they say they're trying to not do, because they have the charismatic grifters that make the videos that for whatever reason people respond to. People who haven't actually played this game will hate it just because they're sort of told to hate it. And so what does EA do next time? They don't make Stellar Blade. They just continue to sort of, vanilla the out of everything they work on and make sure that no one's going to have anything to complain about. They straight up ask you if you want transgender game options 1 hour in. You select yes or no. So all the people bitching invited into their game. I don't even know what it asks, but this character apparently is the bar of trans character. And so far there's nothing, not that needs to be, I mean, to me that's the equivalent of saying, do you want black people? Do you want black people in your game? We have a button that'll get the blacks out. That's the equivalent of it. But if that's what you're saying, I mean, I didn't even know that's what they were asking. The only thing I've come across so far, and again, I've seen that cutscene, it's terribly written and performed, the barf thing, but the only thing I've even come across so far is when you're talking to characters, and one of your multiple options is you can romance a character who is the same sex as your character. And you can just be like, oh, no thanks. Like Chad in SNL. It's like, no thanks.
Why is he zooming in now?
And, if that's not what you're into. The grifters.
Okay, so he's saying that, so if I'm gathering his perspective here, he's saying that one of the main problems with the industry is that I guess he is like sort of blaming, or he's saying that a lot of the like anti-woke content creators are in fact impacting games. I guess that's he's sort of saying that, and he's saying that like the studios are just kind of like making their games more and more vanilla because of that, because they're trying too hard to appease them. But I don't know, am I understanding that correctly? I feel like that's, hold on, let me actually listen to this again.
I don't even know what it asks, but this character apparently is the bar of trans character, and so far there's nothing all that, and so they should have been prepared to counter, and they weren't. Really, at this point, all that gaming community that you're talking about has done is they've made it so they've actually made games ruin this game's success. I mean, I don't think that's entirely fair, but I think there is a lot of truth to it. If you're EA, you've got to kind of prepare for the market wins that you're sailing into and all that. And so they should have been prepared to counter it, and they weren't. Really, at this point, all that gaming community that you're talking about has done is they've made it so they've actually made games worse, which is what they say they're trying to not do, because they have the charismatic grifters that make the videos that for whatever reason people respond to. People who haven't actually played this game will hate it just because they're sort of told to hate it. And so what does EA do next time? They don't make Stellar Blade. They just continue to sort of, vanilla the fuck out of everything they work on and make sure that no one's going to have anything to complain about. They straight up ask you if you want transgender game options 1 hour in. You select yes or no. So
Okay, so they're basically saying that from what I'm gathering out of that is he's saying that the games industry isn't taking the proper lessons, right? He's saying that they should be listening to the feedback and to the market realities that we exist in, and that they should just be making more games like Stellar Blade. But the opposite of that is happening, where the games industry is just trying to make the most vanilla games that are the least offensive possible, and that he believes that those are going to be the lessons that game studios will take from whatever the current culture war is. Okay, so I think that's his perspective.
All the people bitching invited into their game. I don't even know what it asks, but this character apparently is the bar of trans character, and so far there's nothing, not that needs to be, I mean, to me that's the equivalent of saying, do you want black people? Do you want black people in your game? We have a button that'll get the blacks out. That's the equivalent of it. But if that's what you're saying, I didn't even know that's what they were asking. The only thing I've come across so far, and again, I've seen that cutscene, it's terribly written and performed, the bar thing, but the only thing I've even come across so far is when you're talking to characters, and one of your multiple options is you can romance a character who is the same sex as your character, and you can just be like, oh, no thanks, like Chad and SNL, it's like, oh, no thanks, and if that's not what you're into. So the grifters who hate woke still stream the game and played it to finish grift.
And he's saying that people are like overstating the wokeness of Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Okay.
How bad the game was. So yeah, they didn't like it, but played it for views and ad revenue equals grift, yeah. Avowed Dev said they're making the game really woke to upset Elon and groans. Well, I don't know. I mean, I know what you're talking about, Eddie. I know the art director was basically pushing back because Elon got upset, and Grums got upset that there are, God forbid, pronouns in that you can select, or maybe not even select, in Avowed. And so the art director got pissed off, and the community manager shut her account down. But I don't know, the game's almost done, so I don't really, that may have just been sort of a pissy kind of statement. But I mean, again, it's, and I agree, Morgan, when you say, oh my God, again with this. I know, but this is the news of the day. I mean, this is sort of what happens in the gaming world right now. We're still talking games. I'm still playing lots of games. We're still doing game design discussions, but these are the people that, are influencing something. Don't know why. Don't know why, but they are. Imagine how unsuccessful you have to be that you're willing to go, you know what I'll do then? My game wasn't working out. So you know what I'll do? I'll build a whole career about bitching about stuff that I find woke. Really? God, that must suck for you. I'm not trying to be like reverse psychology the guy. I'm just saying it's like, Jesus, man. Just go make some shit if you don't like it. There's a lot to like out there. I mean, here's what I'll grant you. If you're watching me play this game, I get that you would look at this game and say, well, this doesn't seem like a game of the year contender, and it may not be. It probably isn't for most people. But I've been playing this now on stream for a little over an hour. Are you seriously looking at this and going, this looks like utter shit and it's crap? Really? I mean, that's okay. It's your opinion. That's fine. But like, how can you, I mean, it's fun. It's a fun, solid game. And I get the argument of like, hey, I don't have time for just fun enough. There's so much to play. I respect that. But it's like, if it's not your favorite game, don't play it, but it's not shit. Now, by the way, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I am curious, Nick, when you say you think it looks mediocre. So what if somebody was in the market for an action RPG, not Baldur's Gate, not a turn-based RPG, like an action game, like what you're seeing here, but there's still stats and a big story and characters and a party to build and all that. If this one's mediocre, which one would you suggest they play? Like, which one does it really well that is still relatively modern enough that would still scratch that itch? I mean, Elden Ring doesn't do that. Elden Ring's my favorite game of all time, but Elden Ring's not this. Elden Ring doesn't have anywhere near close to this kind of combat. Elden Ring's combat is much more, I would say, tactical and measured. This is much more hack and slash. Okay, so Morgan says Rebirth does it better. Okay, that's fair. That seems probable. Honestly, what pushed me away from Rebirth, and I played the demo, was just I read some reviews and stuff, and people were saying it's phenomenal, but it is so fucking long. I mean, people were saying it's like, my God, this thing, and it's the second part. I didn't even play the first part. So it's kind of, yes, Elden Ring is a better game than this, for me personally, yes. But this scratches a very different itch. That's like comparing, a fine, whatever, 3-star meal, I don't know how to do meals, to like a really solid, slightly above McDonald's dinner. It's like they both have places in your life. All right, well, speaking of places in my life.
Okay. So, I mean, I already, I can tell what people are going to take issue with here. I'm assuming that people got upset because he's, very much just, dismissing the Avowed thing. He's dismissing, a lot of the complaints that people have with wokeness being pushed in games. And, I mean, I feel like I can see the future of this conversation. I feel like it's going to be a lot of people being like, he's just ignoring the Avowed stuff, or, oh, he's just dismissing a lot of this stuff without diving deep into it. And it's like, And to be fair, he put this YouTube video out, so from a certain perspective, that can be a valid criticism, to be fair, but it's also just him talking to his chat. So it's like, it's not. I can already tell where this is going. Okay, we'll see though.
Life, the place I have to go is back to the grocery store. So, but I will be here Thanksgiving morning, California time, which is like 9 o'clock my time for a Thanksgiving stream. So if you want to hang out with us, and we'll probably play some games, talk, I'll show you some cool stuff. It's going to be very chill and hang out, something to do to celebrate the holiday and hang out with everybody and fuck around for an hour and a half or whatever. So if you're bored, you got nothing to do, or everybody's still sleeping, whatever it is you do on Thanksgiving, we'll be here. And hopefully we will see you guys really, really soon. All right, but for now I got to go prep that. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you soon. Hopefully be well, be safe. If I don't talk to you until, have a great Thanksgiving.
Just wow.
All right, so that was that video. Then this lady, Vara Dark, what is it? Dark Titan Media. Oh, dang, she's a Dark Titan. Is it because she's like a redhead and like she's gonna get race swapped in the Dark Titan Media adaptation? I don't know. We'll see. Sorry, I'm just changing the playback speed. Okay.
David Jaffe is salty that average people can take to social media and voice their opinions, and he is getting angry.
Wait, somebody wrote an article? God of War director David Jaffe blames somebody. Somebody wrote an article about this. Why? And compares. Oh Jesus. Okay. And compares transgenderism to being black. Oh wow. Okay. Ooh.
Companies may start actually listening to gamers after the multiple failures they've had over the years, and now, of course, he is blaming YouTube grifters for killing Dragon Age the Veilguard when it simply was a trash game. I have a few different things to show off.
Hold on. Don't like the anti-woke people like take credit? People like Grums literally take credit for taking down games. Is that like a thing that they deny now? I thought these people took credit for taking down games with their like anti-woke campaigns. Okay.
Before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description.
Oh, to be fair, I guess I shouldn't lump her in with Grums necessarily in that sense.
In my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, David is somebody who's taken to social media a lot over the past few years to voice how unhappy he is with the fact that gamers' voices matter. And now that, of course, we've seen failure after failure, like Concord, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, Dustborn, The Veilguard, it's just infuriating him to an unbelievable degree. And now he's actually going on to blame.
Is he infuriated? Wait, what? Okay, we just watched his video. It was just him like calmly talking to his chat. I don't think I would say that he's infuriated.
YouTube grifters for killing this title. So, in a video uploaded to his YouTube channel, which he appears to have clipped from a live stream, Jaffe answered a viewer question about the gaming community ruining the game, which is so ridiculous. Now, I do think it's important to add context here. He's made a video about me in the past, which I couldn't help but laugh at because of how ridiculous he sounded. He made this video because I said Alyssa Mercante making jokes about the Trump attempted assassination wasn't funny, and how David here said that he thought it was kind of suspicious and it might have been staged, and that wasn't cool. But he whipped out a book about the WWE and Vince McMahon and said, oh, there's a lot of information about Trump in here and how he's good at understanding an audience and entertaining a crowd. But that's literally anyone in life, let's be honest. When you go to a job interview, you're trying to convince someone to hire you. When you go to try to get a loan, or you're in the real world debating someone, you're trying to convince them of your stance or qualities and trustworthiness, and every single political candidate is just trying to convince you to vote for them. Trump is just extremely good at it, but at the end of the day, every single politician is like this, but instead, he decides to single out Trump, which is just absurd, but he also said, oh, he's older than me, so...
I don't know what... I'm not gonna... Okay, this is as far down the rabbit hole I'm going. I'm not even going to try to look up the context of any of this.
He knows more about politics than I do, and that I should, quote, go fuck myself. So the one interaction, I guess we'll call it, wasn't very great, but I'm one of the grifters he's calling out, even though his definition of a grifter is somebody sitting online, making videos, talking about a game, when he's literally doing the same exact thing. Now, I live stream most of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, hopefully at some point he explains what the definition of a grifter is. So... Because apparently that is another aspect of this whole controversy, is people being, like, I think Asmongold in specific is like, when somebody says the word grifter, I stop taking them seriously because nobody knows what the definition of the word is. A grifter, at least as far as my understanding is concerned, is somebody who lies about their positions, like a public figure that lies about their positions in order to make money, right? Like, in the context of, like, you know, influencers, it's people that have amassed an audience that watch them because they espouse a certain kind of point of view, And so they lie about having that point of view because they're audience captured and because that makes them money. So that's my interpretation of what a grifter is. We'll see if David Jaffe has like a different definition or something.
Games I talk about, I did a full playthrough of Veilguard, I streamed Flintlock Siege of Dawn, I streamed Concord when it was up for the 2 weeks, right? I'm giving these games a chance. But if I'm bad, you're just as bad. He added, really at this point, all that the gaming community that you're talking about has done is that they've made it up. So they've actually made games worse, which is what they say.
Wait, what?
They're trying to not do. Okay, the problem with the mainstream industry is that it is filled with only one type of person, and that is an individual who I would consider a radical leftist. There are very few level-headed people who are actually at these companies from what we have observed, right? Because at every single company in the world, there are always going to be good people and bad people, good apples in every bunch, bad apples in every bunch. But the people that we are paying attention to at these companies are individuals who are being vocal, but they're not being vocal as in they're trying to respect the customers or offer us transparency into their products. They're just being pieces of trash. They're people who are voicing their racism and sexism and hatred, and they're projecting that onto everybody. Like, look at Matt Hansen, the art director of Avowed. He said he wants crusty white dudes.
This is like... I don't even... Wasn't his point that... And again, we just watched it, so please let me know if I misunderstood David Jaffe. Wasn't his point that because people like try to cancel these types of games, that they're inadvertently like causing the... Or like in response to that, developers are like just trying to not be controversial in any way, and so they're like watering down games to be as inoffensive as possible. Like that was his ultimate point. I don't like she's like taking that and like I don't even know, like she's just bringing up a bunch of like other random examples, and not even necessarily addressing that point, which is what he was trying to make with this. So this is, yeah, I don't know. Like, this is another weird thing. It's like, why are you like reading an article instead of just like watching the video? I don't understand. This is so weird. Like, it's linked there. You can just click on the thing and watch it. I don't know why you're watching somebody clipping him. I don't know why you're reading an article that's just like clipping him out.
Dudes removed from the industry. Do you really think that that is like an acceptable comment? No, it's not, but he thinks it is. These are the types of people.
Does he? He didn't comment about any of that, at least in the video. I mean, maybe she's referring like a past thing, maybe. Or is she talking about the Avowed situation?
Bad apples and every bunch. But the people that we are paying attention to at these companies are individuals who are being vocal, but they're not being vocal as in they're trying to respect the customers or offer us transparency into their products. They're just being pieces of trash. They're people who are voicing their racism and sexism and hatred, and they're projecting that onto everybody. Like, look at Matt Hansen, the art director of Avowed. He said
he literally didn't comment on the Avowed situation beyond like giving like a summary of it, because I don't think he knew enough about it. So I don't think he really even commented on it. Did he? Okay.
Wants crusty white dudes removed from the industry. Do you really think that that is like an acceptable comment? No, it's not. But
no, David Jaffe didn't even address that specifically, I don't think. Yeah, no, I remember now. The only thing that he addressed that was a part of that was when he said that he was trying to get back at Elon Musk or whatever because they were complaining about the pronouns. He didn't make a comment on the crusty white dudes part. He didn't say anything about it.
he thinks it is. These are the types of people that we are calling out. And because these types of people are running rampant in the industry, there's really nobody who has a differing opinion. And then we get the same types of games over and over. So circling back to, they've actually made games worse. We do not affect the content that is in the game. All we are doing is calling out a company when we see content we do not like. It's like with professional movie critics or professional game reviewers, if you can even really call them professional. They are getting a product and they are judging it. I do not see you sitting in a video calling out every form of reviewer and saying that they're trash because they are affecting the way that movies are being made or the video games are being made. No, we're not technically affecting it. We're just giving our opinion. Now, if a company
I mean, that can affect it. just to be clear.
listens to us.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I mean, maybe she doesn't consider herself to be a part of it, but like, if you look on Twitter and you see what Grums is saying, he literally says that he is affecting the games industry. He literally says that he is trying to change the games industry. Like, a lot of these like anti-woke people are literally, they assert that they are affecting games. I mean, maybe she doesn't consider herself a part of like whatever Grums is, but I mean, I don't know. This seems like a weird take from her.
That would be great, because without us swiping our credit cards, you would not have a job. But he's saying that, oh my god, we're making games worse. We're technically not. Games are already bad. And there are some amazing games that release every single year. I'm not saying every single title to release is, trash, but the ones that we are calling out are still getting made, and they're going to be made for years. He explained, because they have the charismatic grifters that make the videos for whatever reason people respond to. People who haven't played this game will hate it just because they're sort of told to hate it. I do my live streams on my channel to help inform the viewer. When I'm sitting here talking about a game like Avowed, I'm still going to live stream it, and then you can decide if it's good or not. Maybe I will play it, and I will absolutely love it. By the end, I'll review it and say, oh my god, I'm mind blown. I was wrong. Hallelujah, this is an amazing game. Or maybe you saved $70 because you watched my playthrough and you decided this is not a good game. All I'm doing is...
I mean, this is like weird. This is weird language, like autistic language, but it is true that if you have not played a game, you definitively cannot say if it's good or bad. Unless we're literally just talking about like maybe a Telltale game, like one of those types of games where you're effectively like watching a movie. Like, if you haven't played Super Mario Brothers Wonder, I don't think you can you can't say if it's good or bad based on just watching a Let's Play of it. I don't think you can reasonably do that. Nor do I think you could reasonably do that with a game like Elden Ring, because you don't know how it plays. Even from a narrative perspective, I don't know that you can reasonably do that, because like, I feel like game narrative goes hand in hand with gameplay in a lot of cases. Like, I think like a really good example for that for me would come from like Spider-Man Miles Morales. I remember when when that game first came out, I just watched like a YouTube cutscene version of it because I don't think I had a PlayStation at that time. So I was just like, yeah, I watched like a YouTube cutscene version of it, and I was like, that was okay. And then at some point down the line, I actually got to play the game, and it was like a completely different experience, because the story that Miles Morales is telling is like directly linked to the gameplay. It's like when I actually played through the side missions, when I was like saving all the people, like all the civilians in all of the side missions. And then the way where that kind of like wraps around at the end of the game when they all like show up again. And it was like it was just a completely different experience. So I guess all of this to say is that I actually kind of agree that it's fair for you to say, like, if you haven't played a game, it's fair for you to like look at a bunch of footage of it and say, I don't think this is going to be for me. I don't think this looks good. But for you to say that it is bad, you really can't say that. So, I mean, I think David Jaffe is right in that sense. So, but again, these are like autistic details. To be fair, I'll be upfront about that.
It's providing people with transparency. An average gamer doesn't have time every day to sit and skim through social media feeds for hours upon hours upon hours, and that's why I make videos, so that I can help give people information so they can make an informed purchase, or maybe they do not purchase it. But instead of trying to view it from our standpoint, oh no, we're just grifters to him, we're just terrible people to him, which is ridiculous. He also addressed the major backlash to the game pushing transgender ideology. He said they straight up ask you if you want transgender game options 1 hour, and you select yes or no, so all the people bitching invite it into their game. And he also talks about how I don't even know what it asks, but this character apparently is the barf trans character, and so far there's nothing. This is not very true. He can say that, oh my gosh, you're just inviting the bullshit into your game, but it's in the game no matter what. So yes, when it comes to choosing a transgender identity for your character, you do that about an hour to an hour and a half into the experience. But the problem is that characters like Tosh do still exist, and eventually you will have to deal with her bullshit. It's not like you can just leave.
I mean, like at this point, like, I do push back against a lot of these people. So where I'm just like, okay, so just to be clear, so you just don't want trans people in the games? So you don't want like trans side characters or anything? So you just don't want that in your games? It's like, okay, but like, I don't know, like if that's your position, then I don't understand why you get offended or triggered when people are like, oh yeah, you guys are transphobic, or yeah, you guys are hateful. It's like, you kind of are. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's like her being like, well, like, yes, you can choose if you're trans or not, but there is still trans people in the game, so it's still a valid complaint. And it's like, okay.
leave her at her base and, not use her as a companion. You basically have to level each companion up and you have to go through their stories. But even if you don't, there are still moments where you're sitting around the kitchen table and she goes, by the way, I'm non-binary. Like, it's ridiculous and it is still shoved in your face. And a character like Tosh only exists to push a narrative. I think it's ridiculous that we have modern terminology in this game to begin with. I don't think that you should have pronouns or transgender or non-binary terms within your fantasy game. I don't like the modern terminology. It just takes me out of the experience. That's my opinion though. Maybe you like it. That's okay. You're allowed to. But I'm still allowed to criticize it at the end of the day. So he sounds insane. Let's be honest. He clearly does not like content creators having a voice, and he does not like gamers having a voice. And he can sit here on his YouTube channel and do the same.
Okay. You watched the first video that I watched. Did you at any point get the impression that David Jaffe doesn't want people to have a voice? Did you ever get that impression? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm like off base here or whatever, but did you ever get that impression from what he said? What?
Exact thing that I am doing, that other people are doing, but it just makes him look like a massive hypocrite. Maybe you do not see the narratives that are being pushed because you agree with them, because they're the norm in your eyes, and hey, you're allowed to sit here and defend it all you want. You can buy 20 copies and donate them to your audience, but I'm also allowed to sit here and not like the game. That's the beautiful thing about people having different opinions and having a platform to be able to voice those opinions on. So he sounds insane.
What is what is this thing here where she's like, yeah, well, I'm allowed to have an opinion? It's like, he never said you can't. Like, where is this leap in logic that she's gone to?
And he's blaming the YouTube grifters for killing Dragon Age the Veilguard when, at the end of the day, it was just a very bad game. It was not the experience that Dragon Age fans really wanted, and because we criticized it, it didn't get sales. It is what it is. Maybe these devs should have made a better game.
Wait, so she says, oh no, we didn't affect the game. We didn't kill the game. But then like 5 seconds later, and it's like, yeah, because we criticized it, it didn't get sales. And it's like, that's what he said. That's what are you talking about?
And they would have sold more copies of their title, but people like David Jaffe are coping and seething over it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way. But
okay, so that's the second video. Well, we're moving along, okay? Because a lot of videos to get through, okay?
I said Alyssa Mercante making jokes about the Trump attempted assassination wasn't funny, and how David here said that he thought it was kind of suspicious and it might have been staged, and that wasn't cool. But he whipped out a book about the WWE and Vince McMahon and said, oh, there's a lot of information about Trump in here and how he's good at understanding an audience and entertaining a crowd, but that's literally anyone in life, let's be honest. Every single political candidate is just trying to convince you to vote for them. Trump is just extremely good at it, but at the end of the day, every single politician is like this, but instead, he decides to single out Trump, which is just absurd.
There's a book, I had the author on my show, it's called Ringmaster, it's a great book. There is an entire chapter about the relationship between sex creep offenders, some of the shit he's alleged to have done, Vince McMahon and Donald Trump. Him and Vince McMahon have a close relationship. They talk a lot, and he breaks it down into how Vince McMahon's tactics of building up an audience and staging things and doing kayfabe, which again, look into it, is being, according to the author, replicated as Trump was the president, ran for president again. It's just read a little bit. You've got to do the research, lady. I didn't just pull out some rando book on the WWE. I pulled out a book about the fucking thing I was speaking about. And do I think Trump's assassination was staged? I don't know, but I'll make a deal with you. If you think that's beyond the pale and hard to believe, I don't know. Then you guys talking about, hell, going back to Barack Obama not being a citizen. Or you guys talking about kids going to school and coming home a different sex.
Your kid goes to school and comes home a few days later with an operation. The school decides what's going to happen with your child.
Do you really want to go toe-to-toe with which political party, Vera, offers up a trough of horse shit? Who's got the most horse shit? I mean, you're not educated enough. You're not bright enough, Vera, to talk to me or to talk about what I talk about. You're just not.
He also said, oh, he's older than me, so he knows more about politics.
Okay, so I think what she... I mean, listen, I'm not going to pretend that I've done like a whole bunch of like research into the conspiracy, we'll call it. So I don't know.
Politics than I do, and that I should, quote, go fuck myself. So I'm one of the grifters he's calling out, even though his definition of a grifter is somebody sitting online, making videos, talking about a game, when he's literally doing the same exact thing. Now,
is that my definition of a grifter? Where are you getting that, Veilguard, from? Again, Vera, I'm going to give you a little bit of an education here. Jaffe's definition of a grifter is literally sitting online talking about games. You don't believe me? Not a problem. Veilguard here for you with all the facts. Here's where he defined grifter 2 years ago. What's that you say? Grifter? Grifter, huh? Well, I suppose that's when you play in video games, like the Atari, and you have somebody taking a picture of you and you say, I'm going to say this about the video. I think that's what that's a grifter. Didn't think we'd find this, did you, Jaffe? But I'm good at my job. I've never defined grifter as that. A grifter is somebody who makes money off people by lying to them. That's what they do. A grifter is not someone who sits in front of the camera and talks.
Yeah, I don't... Isn't that... So... I feel like when I say that, like, I feel like the term woke has lost meaning. I literally mean that whenever I hear somebody say the word woke, I literally cannot, I don't know what they mean when they say that. Because that can mean, like broadly speaking, it means like progressive ideology, kind of, right? And then I know that there was like some original definition that it had in like certain civil rights movements back in the day. I'll be honest, I don't actually know whatever that definition was, but broadly meaning today, it means woke ideology. But like woke ideology can range from like socialism or like actual like extreme leftism beliefs to like there are minorities in the game. Or as she literally said in the last video, oh yeah, trans people exist in the game, so we're going to criticize it because of that. I mean, like we don't have a choice. We have to encounter a trans person. So like when I hear the word woke and when I say that, like I literally don't know what you mean when you say that. I feel like when it comes to the term grifter, I think most people mean it using the definition that I and David Jaffe gave. The only problem is that people maybe use the term too loosely. But I don't think that the term grifter has necessarily lost all meaning. Because maybe there's too much of people calling people grifters when they're not actually grifters. So I don't know. That honestly, who knows what the truth of that is.
Talks about video games, Veilguard. You just don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do this. You are in that chair, Vara, because of your hair
okay, here we
and
go.
your face and your gender. And that's fine, by the way. There's no problem with that. I don't deny anyone making money and building an audience off, the things that they've got. But let's be clear. So far, my encounters with you online, you are kind of you're a mental lightweight. And that's fine. People have all kinds of I'm bad at Vara, I'm bad at math, man. If I was in NASA and they were like, oh shit, the space station's gonna explode. Everybody, we can only solve this by looking at the blueprints and the math and the, geometry. I don't fucking know. Jaffe, get in here. Within 5 minutes, they'd be like, Jaffe, go get the coffee. It's not for you. That's okay. You're right. Your voice could literally get Putin to back out of the Ukraine. The Ukraine was a boy band from the 80s. Ukraine. You have about as much mental capacity as a spider that I killed in my shower this morning. It's the goddamn truth, Vara.
Okay. I mean, like, okay, now this is the ultimate question, right? Was that sexism? And I have not heard that until this point. I don't. And again, maybe I'm just biased here. Again, maybe I have a pro David Jaffe bias, but I don't think it's necessarily sexist to point out that somebody has their like YouTube fame or whatever, or that somebody has an audience because they are attractive. Because I feel like David Jaffe gave the proper parameters around that, where he said that from what he's listened to her, from what he's listened from her, he doesn't feel like she has anything worth saying. And so he perceives that because she doesn't have anything worth saying, that people must watch her because she's like an attractive lady. I don't think that that's necessarily sexist, because he's not saying that the only reason why somebody would listen to a woman is because she's an attractive lady. Because presumably there are other female games commentators that he wouldn't ascribe that same paradigm to. But at the end of the day, I can understand why somebody would listen to that and just go sexist. So, yeah, I mean, I understand where all of this came from. Because, like, by the way, I would say the same thing for like Hassan. I do think that the main reason why Hassan has his fan base and why he doesn't get as much backlash from them for the insane things that he says is because he's an attractive guy saying them. Like, he has done some insane things on his Twitch stream, right? Like, you know, like literally advocating for terrorism. Like, he's literally done that. And I think if he wasn't an attractive male, I don't think he would be able to get away with it the way that he does. Not that he doesn't get criticism, but the fact that he's not even banned off of Twitch, the fact that he still has a massive audience that supports all of that. I don't think it's necessarily sexism. But at the end of the day, you probably just shouldn't make those comments from an optics perspective, because just from an optics perspective, like when you say something like that, it's going to be very easy for people who already probably don't want to like treat you in super good faith to just go sexism.
When you have a controversial opinion on the internet, you're bound to get wrecked for it, and that is exactly what's happened with David Jaffe. He decided to go on this tirade about how YouTube grifters killed Dragon Age the Veilguard when it was just a pile of trash that absolutely nobody enjoyed, but he decided to target certain content creators, myself included, and he's even going so far as to say that I am only successful because I'm a woman. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I think that this is hilarious because we are talking about the type of person who preaches for diversity and inclusivity until it comes time to support inclusivity of thought and diversity of opinion, but also I am a woman who happens to have a voice, and I have this platform that I'm extremely grateful for. But he is mad that I even have it, going so far as to say that I am a, quote, mental lightweight. So this really only all started.
He literally said that he's okay with it. What? Like, he literally said the opposite of that in his response. I don't understand why, like, they're trying to paint David Jaffe as, like, a cancel culture guy when he's, say what you will about the guy, he's definitely not that. Okay.
Because he got called out for his awful Dragon Age take. God of War's director, David, blames YouTube grifters for killing Dragon Age the Veilguard, which is absurd. We did not kill this game. What we do online is we voice our opinions. Now, I, of course, live streamed a full playthrough on the channel from start to finish. I gave my take. I did a review at the end of those live streams, and I just simply did not enjoy it. It did not feel like Dragon Age. I was sick and tired of the modern terminology.
Yeah, I mean, when she says we, I'm just so curious, does she count herself into the same people that are like the Grums Brigade? Because, yes, those people literally take credit for killing games. So this is just, like, weird. Like, maybe she doesn't consider herself a part of that group. I don't know.
Being shoved in your face, like transgender, non-binary, having to pick your pronouns. I think that's ridiculous in a fantasy dragon game. That's just my take. He's allowed to say that he thinks it's fine. It is what it is. But we did not kill this game. What we did was we gave our opinion. And when it comes to actually talking about some of the people behind this project, they really do seem to hate gamers. So we just called it all out. And he's furious that our voices matter, that content creators have a voice, but also that it's so easy for people to, at the end of the day, give their opinions. For an average person, maybe like you watching, he is furious at that. And you know, I understand that he's a little bit salty. He's not relevant anymore. He used to be extremely relevant. He's got this YouTube channel with, I think, like 55,000 subscribers, which is still pretty good, don't get me wrong. But it's clear that he's just a little bit angry that this is the situation. And he actually decided.
I just don't get the vibe from that at all from David Jaffe. I don't know what to tell you, bro. That's just like a weird line of attack. I don't know. And again, maybe it's like the parasociality in me because I've listened to him on a bunch of podcasts, but like, he's just like an old dude that's retired from the games industry that's like chilling. I don't know.
To make this post over on X saying, you don't have to like me and certainly don't have to agree with me, but please don't lie about what I say. And if you are going to try to attack me, please be smart enough to do so Vara dark. Otherwise, I'll feel like I'm picking on a little kid. First of all, he could not even spell my name right when it's right in front of his face. But okay,
got him.
I
mistyped.
I suppose I'm not going to nitpick here, but he had a complete and utter meltdown and spazzed out after I roasted him. God of War's director had a total meltdown and spazzed out after he was roasted by YouTuber Vara Dark. Dark roasted him in a recent video upload covering Phantom Pulse's article where he blamed so-called YouTube.
Why does she like read articles about YouTube videos instead of just watching the videos? I don't understand why people do this.
To grifters for killing Dragon Age the Veilguard. I said he's very salty that average people can take to social media and voice their opinions, as I just said. I will link the original video down below just because I don't think I should go over every single talking point. He talks about the Trump assassination and me calling him out on him.
I mean, to be fair, he didn't go through every single point, but like, if you're gonna make a response to the response, it was a 4-minute video. You can't talk about every single point. I mean, I'll be honest, when David Jaffe says that she probably wouldn't be able to have a conversation with him about politics, I mean, the fact that she's specifically avoiding that point That might be true. That might be true. I don't know.
Him saying he believed it was staged. He brings up books and how he is telling me to just read a little bit. I've got to do research. And, as time goes on, it gets even worse.
When you get Zaxx Packs on game day, you don't just get 20 of our famous fingers. You get crinkle cut fries. You get buttery.
Worse for him.
Here's the thing, man. I wish content creators, like, this should lead up to a debate, okay? They need to get on stream together. They need to debate, okay? Because I want content to react to. That's what this should all lead up to.
Because, heading on over to this Smash JT article, he said, quote, "You are in that chair, Vara, because of your hair and your face and your gender, and that's fine, by the way. There's no problem with that. But let's be clear. You're a mental lightweight. I am in this chair because I genuinely believe the things I'm talking about, because I genuinely want the video game industry to be better. I am sitting in this chair because there are not enough voices when it comes to the gaming industry and trying to protect the previous franchises that are getting absolutely destroyed by activists right now. I am sitting in this chair because not a lot of other people will, and I'm not saying that there's no one, right? There are tons of amazing content creators who are now talking about the culture war in Gamergate 2, but I've been talking about censorship in the video game industry and microtransaction problems and the awful way that developers and community managers have acted for years at this point, and I will continue to do so. You can sit here and call me a mental lightweight, but you don't know me. You have not watched all of the 4,000 pieces of content uploaded on my channel. I stream 20 hours a week.
He's specifically talking, he literally said in his response that he's specifically talking about, he's judging from the interactions that he's had with you. I mean, I don't know, man. See, this is why I like to make the type of video that I'm making right now, where I just watch what people say. And that way, it is literally impossible for me to take people out of context. Like, I might be an idiot. I might be I might be misrepresenting something. But at least if I do that, then you can go down in the comments and be like, "Hey dude, you missed the part where she said this, this, and this." This is just such a weird way of going about it, where you're reading an article about a 4-minute video? What is this? I don't even understand. Why? Who is even making articles about 4-minute YouTube videos? What is this?
Put up, 15 videos a week. I have done that for years now. So you can call me a mental lightweight, but I'm going to keep it a buck. I know more about the current state of the video game industry than you have known about the video game industry in the last 15 years. You are completely out of touch with gamers. You are completely out of touch with how people feel, and you genuinely do not care. You don't care about listening to people. You don't care about listening to me. You do not care about listening to the people that you would need them to swipe their credit cards if you decide to ever get off your ass and make another game. And all you're really doing is embarrassing yourself, bringing up the way that I look, bringing my gender into this conversation. Why does my gender matter? Again, I'm not sitting in this chair because I'm a woman. I have worked hard on my channel for 5 years. It's not because of my hair that people subscribe. It's not because of my face that people subscribe. It's because the takes that I have, and again, they are takes that I genuinely believe in. So you can sit here and you can say this all you want, but you're really just making yourself look even worse than you really already do. And in a previous video, he told me to go fuck myself, lady. My mind is fine. It doesn't really seem so. And even after all of this, all of the rude comments and insults, he came into one of my gaming streams to try to stir the pot and try to reel me into one of his debates, because that's just what he does. He tries to get people to get on a live stream in yelling matches, which is his MO. David tries to corner people into debates because he's really only looking for clout instead of, trying to have an amicable discussion on a matter, because he clearly knows, and I know, that we are never going to see eye to eye. We're never going to agree. But having a
I mean, to be fair, I don't know. I think if you call people out and they're like, "Hey, let's have a conversation about it on stream." People say "Oh, you're just looking for clout," blah, 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 blah. And it's bro, first of all of us are to some extent looking for clout. You're calling out David Jaffe in a YouTube video. You called him out this time. Maybe he's tried to stir the pot before, but you called him out by making a YouTube video about it. What are we talking about here? And it's you don't have to have a debate with him if you don't want, but I feel at this point, why not just get into a call and hash it out? I don't know. Why not? You're the one that called him out initially. There's really no difference in my opinion when it comes to the perspective of looking for clout between making a video about somebody and somebody saying, "Hey, let's have a conversation on stream." Nobody there is seeking more clout than the other person, at least in my opinion.
discussion and each one of us stating our opinions is still an okay thing to do, but it's just not what he's looking to do, and it's not what he's done in the past. He just wants to scream at people about how wrong they are, and maybe one day this will change, but at this point in time, that's the way that he works. I've always said if someone wants to have a discussion live, I'm willing to do it. I've said it to Alyssa, I've said it about people like Anita Sarkeesian and others, but that's something he could have just reached out on a platform like X about, not in a gaming stream. When I'm streaming a video game, I'm trying to show off a game and show you guys what's great about it or what's bad about it. I'm not there to talk about...
What? What's the difference? What is this, like, you asked me to do it, not on the right social media platform. What? What?
Drama, but after my stream, I did what I said, which was go and attempt to reach out to him, but I can't even DM him on X because he doesn't follow me and his DMs are closed, so I guess it just is what it is. I can't set up any sort of discussion stream with him.
I mean, then just say that. Just be like, hey, David, I'm okay with, I'd like to have a debate with you or whatever. Can you unblock me or can you follow me or something? I don't know.
With him, and at this point, I just don't see a way that this is going to happen. Maybe he'll reach out to my business email, otherwise, I think that idea is dead. Now he's getting raped.
Okay, well, maybe David will do it. I don't know.
Across the coals by the internet. People are putting up videos like Hypnotic. He put up coverage on this. Shout out to him. I had put up this tweet thread that's gotten 300,000 views nearly, and people are pointing and laughing. Asmongold said, can you tell him to react to my video too, so I'll have content for tomorrow. And I just responded with, one of your greatest talents is being able to react to anything. Just predict what he's going to say. That shouldn't be too hard, given it's the same talking points from anybody defending the mainstream industry, and react to what he could say. Be 2 steps ahead. Savvy had said he still can't answer how a YouTuber prevented the target audience from buying the game. Waste of time. That one is yes.
I don't understand. Does he... Like, he literally just said... Like, when he says that the YouTube grifters or whatever... Like made Dragon Age the Veilguard bombed. That's not even an attack on those people. That's a concession to what they say. Like, people... Like, I'm just saying, I've seen Grums talk about how... We're winning the culture war. We are killing these sweet baby ink games. That's a concession from his part. Like, I don't understand why people are taking issue to that.
He could at least clearly point out and lay out his thoughts and kind of his thought process and why he came to that conclusion, but he, of course, didn't. Stuttering Cred said, my favorite part of his rant was when he called you stupid, but can't even define what a woman is. It's so hilarious. I can't believe this dude made one of the best franchises in gaming ever. Yeah, he's created some really great things in the past. I'm not, trashing his, gaming creation history, but that doesn't mean that he's got this pass to do whatever he wants and say whatever he wants and attack the very people he may meet again one day to swipe their credit cards on products. He went so crazy, he turned into a woman hater and couldn't even stick to a point. Classic move. He's the worst. He can't even get positivity grifting right. Imagine leaving game development just to talk to the boys online. What a clown.
I mean, I'll be honest. This type of video is just like what are we even doing at this point? Like, she didn't react to the actual video itself. She literally just read an article about a YouTube video instead of just watching the YouTube video. It's only 4 minutes long. And now she's just reading tweets? I mean, come on.
If you don't think like them, they immediately say that you are the enemy. This is unfortunately very true. They do not have opponents, they have enemies. And if you are not with them, you are starkly against them. And that's so sad because I am fine with people having their own opinions, even if they differ from mine. But at the end of the day, you still should try to be respectful towards people. And as you guys know, I stream video games 20 plus hours a week. I stream most major releases. I talk about games for who knows how many hours a week on top of that via videos. And it's clear that I'm not just sitting in this chair to make money. It's very clear that I'm not just sitting in this chair reading from a random script. I am sitting here giving my genuine opinions on the gaming industry, and it just so happens to be that there are a lot of people out there who agree with my takes. 136,000 people, which is absolutely phenomenal to see. And again, I appreciate all of you for subscribing, for supporting. It is fantastic to have such a passionate community, and that's something that David just doesn't understand anymore, is you have to respect the people that you like and even that you dislike in order to get anywhere in life, and that's just not his mentality and a lot of radical leftists' mentality. So I will be keeping my eye on this to see if he goes maybe on another unhinged rant, but I'll leave you all with this very...
Okay, sure. Okay, let's watch the next one. Let's see, how long have we been going on, actually? Okay, should I watch this? This is the one that I've already seen. Screw it, we'll go all the way. Go it all the way, guys.
No, I did not see the Side Scrollers podcast. Here's what I'll tell you. Very dark. And I clearly don't really vibe with each other. She doesn't like me. I said some mean things about her. They were not misogynistic, but they were mean. They were intentionally mean. But whatever. And I don't know Asmongold to save my life, but it sounds like he may not be a fan of mine either. But Side Scrollers, or at least Stuttering Craig, That guy, I have massive issues with. I'm not even going to watch him to hate watch him. So no, I did not see it. I was not sexist to Vara. Stop the clowns. I was not. I was mean to her. Trust me, because I was worried because I knew people would think I was. But I was like, this is not. I know people will think this is sexist or misogynistic, but it's really not. And I was checking with women. I'm like, hey, watch this for me, because maybe I'm wrong. Because I could be wrong. Everybody's got a blind spot. I would hate to think I actually would say something sexist or misogynistic, but in this case, I was like, I don't think it is. But again, I could still be wrong. Educate me if I am. But my understanding of misogyny, yeah. So like the Popo says, you implied that she only has a channel and audience because of her hair and her looks, and because she's a woman. That's not sexist. That's not misogynistic. That's me being mean to her and saying the only thing, in my opinion, based on what I've seen of hers, that allows her to be able to do what she does is she's an attractive or semi-attractive woman talking to a bunch of nerds. Is it mean? Oh yeah. Is it cruel? Of course. I mean, she was similarly in both of her previous clips the same to me. And yes, it dealt with her being a woman, but that wasn't me talking about women and like, oh, women can only do this job if, or I don't like or trust women. No one can look at my channel and suggest that that's my history or that's the way I feel or any of my actions or anything. So it sounds more like what you're saying is you don't like it when someone swings back at a woman metaphorically. I would only hit a woman if she was huge and bigger than me. She was attacking me. But metaphorically, I'll hit one all day because what do I care? It's it's the same thing. We're both equal at that point. Right. Okay. If you said that about Laura Fryer, what you said about Vera Dark, that would be misogynistic because she has experience and insight. Right. Or if I said that about Alana Pierce, what I would say about Alana Pierce is Alana Pierce has a leg up in the content creation space talking to nerds because she is very attractive as just a visual attractive woman. But she's also talented, experienced, she edits well, she writes well, and she's got interesting insight into the business, both as a voice actress, as a writer now in the business, and as a journalist who worked at IGN. That's just a description of that particular woman.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Again, I have a pro David Jaffe bias. I like the guy. I've listened to the guy on podcasts and stuff. I don't think that what he said was really sexist. That being said, though, with what he said, it is very easy to just be like, oh, that's sexist. Oh, and like most people aren't actually going to think critically about it. No, most people aren't going to care about the actual explanation. They're just going to go with it. So, I mean, that just is what it is. But,
Now, you could argue that Vera Dark has a lot more going for her than her looks. And I'm sure some of you think she does, and that's fine. And I made it clear to say, in my opinion, based on what she said about me. I don't watch her content. She may be excellent. But based on what she said about me, and frankly, based on if you go to her page, I mean, most of her shit is just mean-spirited, ha-ha, fuck, liberal tears, blah, blah, blah. So forgive me, if you can't point to me and show a history of anything like misogyny, sexism, cruelty, homophobia, racism, it's not in my wheelhouse. It doesn't exist. I have blind spots like everyone else, and I might say something that's like, oh shit, I didn't realize that. But for the most part, you won't. But you go to her channel, just look at her videos. Everything's negative. Everything's about the woke mind virus. For the most part, like, I mean, there's nothing, and forget her talking about me. It's all about stirring up the base of people who hate and feel like victims of the left, and that's fine. It's a valid business model. She does really well. But don't come at me because I'm calling her out for it. She goes to a lot of angry men who feel like victims and feel like they're not being heard, and she happens to be really attractive. Or I'm not going to say, she's an attractive woman. I like redhead, she's attractive. She's young enough to be my kid. I don't want to date her. I'm not being creepy, but I can look at someone objectively and go, that's an attractive woman. And, sorry. But that's not sexist. It's not misogynistic. You think they don't bring in,
Okay, that last thing did feel kind of creepy. But to be fair, again, this is unfair, but anytime I see like an old guy talking about how a younger woman is attractive, I just get kind of creeped out. But I can acknowledge that that's not necessarily a rational thing to do.
You think they don't bring in, attractive people in movies who may not be the best actors just because they're attractive? Sure, of course they do. She's too old for Pete Turtle. Dano Genesis says your looks have nothing to do with
That last part is true. Gal Gadot. Just gotta say it.
this milestone of 49 months being a member. Thank you, buddy, you son of a bitch. Have a good one, good night. Hey, I know what side my bread's buttered on. I had this guy in the chat the other day, Courtney Williams. And people are like, why are you flirting with Courtney? I'm like, I'm not. I can just recognize a good-looking man. I'm like, I'd love to be a good-looking dude. I'm not. I get it, On my best night, I'm competing with Danny DeVito for the ladies left over at the bar. Shut up, that's not nice. The point is that I get it. I'd play to that strength if I could. Hell, there's this one guy who hates me. He won't put his shirt back on. He wants everybody to know he works out. He's always streaming with that fucking shirt on. And I'm not talking about Review Tech USA. That's a bit. This guy literally, part of the set is that there's no shirts within 20 yards of my camera when I stream. I don't know what his name is. I think it's Alex. Oh, no, it's Alex. Like, dude, put a fucking shirt on. It's getting weird. But hey, if I had his body, I'd probably do the same fucking thing. 1 minute says, I just realized you're hated by the right wing and the liberals. You're doing great, Jaffe. Fine with me, man. Fine with me. What do you want from me? I try to be nice to everybody. I like people. I really do. I like people. They're good eggs. Even the ones that call me an idiot. I don't care. We're all just trying to get by. Seriously. X Vault Salt. Jaffe, why are you so concerned about why Hypnotic makes so much money? I'm not. I didn't know who he was until yesterday. I don't plan on ever crossing paths with him again. He's not on my radar. I did think it was interesting. I'm always curious why. The one thing that I took away from that Hypnotic conversation was the people who don't put themselves on camera. And I'm not judging. Maybe they have a job and they're going to say some salty shit, or maybe they feel insecure about the way they look, or maybe they're famous. Maybe it's dude, you're the guy who does the news. I don't fucking know. But I would tell you that it's always weird when people are just like hiding behind an alias. Just who are you? Why do you need to do that? But that doesn't negate whatever his points are. If they're valid points, they're valid points. My point is that's all.
Yeah, obviously we didn't see him talking about this Hypnotic guy. I also don't know who that is, so I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Thought about it as it relates to Hypnotic, but Pete Turtle's the same. Stoner Joe. Pete Turtle's exactly the same. I'm like, dude, you tell me you're this alpha masculine guy. You're good looking. The ladies all come running. Well, show me. You spoke about it to guests on your last stream. Well, yeah, because that was the stream he was on, but I haven't thought about it since. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't really remember the conversation other than going, I didn't think he was. It's wrong to say I don't think he was. I'm not going to say anything because all it's going to do is, look, he should go with God, have a good life. He doesn't like me. He thinks I'm a piece of shit.
Oh, wait, did he talk to the Hypnotic guy?
He's all. Pete Turtle's exactly the same. I'm like, dude, you tell me you're this alpha masculine guy. You good looking, the ladies all come running. Well, show me. You spoke about it to guest on your last stream. Well, yeah, because that was the stream he was on, but I haven't thought about it since. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't really remember the conversation other than going, I didn't think he was. It's wrong to say I don't think he was. You know what? I'm not going to say anything because all it's going to do is, look, he should go with God, have a good life. He doesn't like me. He thinks I'm a piece of shit, and that's totally fine. He thinks I abuse my kids. He thinks I'm a bad dad. And no matter what I said to him, no matter what I said to Stuttering Craig, no matter what I would say to Melanie Mack, which I talked to her as well, you know, they're not. It doesn't matter when you discuss it in good faith. That's not what they're about. And so, what's the point, right?
Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's actually talked to all of those people on stream or if those are private conversations. But I'd actually be interested in seeing some of that maybe in the future. Yeah, I guess we'll just move on to the next video. But yeah, I actually would be. So is Vara Dark still open to them having a debate, or I don't know. Not sure. Okay.
Over the past couple of days, Dave Jaffe has been getting absolutely wrecked by gamers. He has spewed so much hatred towards content creators simply for criticizing Dragon Age the Veilguard, and of course targeting individuals like myself, using my gender against me, saying I'm only successful on this platform because I happen to be a woman with pretty hair and a decent face. But of course, gamers are just pointing and laughing at him, and he's put up yet another video quadrupling down on his idiocy. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, David is clearly a bit desperate for attention, which I understand. He has sunk into the bowels of irrelevancy since he was once a behemoth in the gaming industry, and while I will always appreciate some of the franchises that he was a part of, I can't really say that he as an individual is somebody that I particularly care about being nice to, simply because he's been pretty rude to me. Now, I don't really care about smack talk on the internet. It is what it is, right? People are going to say things about each other all of the time, whether they're truthful, whether they're lies, whether they're coping and seething over other people's success. It doesn't really matter that much to me, but he's decided to continue to double and triple and quadruple down on his initial stance. So this really all started because of Dragon Age the Veilguard. He blamed YouTube grifters for killing Dragon Age the Veilguard, which was absurd. We did not kill the game. We simply said that it was a bad game. We are allowed as human beings to have our own opinions, just like you're allowed to have.
Again, you say we, literally, like people like Grums literally take credit for it. This is, again, maybe, I've already said my piece on that, but like, a lot of the anti-woke people take credit for it. I don't know what you guys are talking. I don't know what she's talking about.
Your opinion on me. You could sit here and say that, oh, I'm only successful on the internet because I'm a woman. One would assume, though, then it wouldn't have taken me multiple years to get to the point where I am now. And actually having people trust me and care about my opinion. You're just a little bit mad that nobody cares about yours. That's fine. It is what it is. But YouTube grifters did not kill Dragon Age the Veilguard. If BioWare made a better game, it would have been more successful, right? We're talking about BioWare here. They've created some amazing things in the past. Same with, we're talking about Obsidian in Avowed right now. We're talking about the company that made Knights of the Old Republic 2. Well, it's funny because Knights of the Old Republic 1 was BioWare and 2 was Obsidian. We're talking about Fallout New Vegas. We're talking about some very massive games within the industry. And these companies can't really seem to capture the magic of what made all of their games successful in the first place and kind of replicate that now. And people are very nostalgic for franchises like Dragon Age. And even though Avowed is new, it's supposed to capture that Obsidian magic again. So people have high expectations. And so far, we're a little bit disappointed with what we've seen with Avowed, and we were disappointed with Dragon Age the Veilguard. When it comes to adding pronouns and top surgery scar toggles, using modern day terminology like transgender and non-binary, that's bound to not sit well with some people. Just because we're talking about a fantasy dragon game, maybe you like that type of content in your title. I'm glad you were one of the 5 people who bought it. But this really all started because he had a meltdown over the fact that YouTube content creators talked about this game, and it just simply wasn't positive discussion. He thought that it should have been praised. I would disagree because I'm one of the content creators who talked about it negatively. I live streamed the whole playthrough on the channel. I really didn't have a lot of fun with it. And of course, because this happened, I responded to it like many content creators, and he decided to just constantly like try to attack me and multiple other people like Hypnotic, for example. But
this is also like, I do just want to point this out. Like, she's doing this thing that I've seen people do where they'll just like talk about a situation, they'll talk about a person, they'll talk about what they said, and she just like won't actually show what they said. Because if you were to just like listen to what she's saying here, you would assume that David Jaffe in the initial video was going like, she was like freaking out like, these YouTube grifters, they kill Dragon Age the Veilguard, blah, 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 blah. When, first of all, he was like very calm. He was just like streaming and chatting about it. And he was literally just like, yeah, I do think that a lot of the like anti-woke content, and to be fair, he did call them grifters. He was like, yeah, I think a lot of the grifters, I think it does affect the people. Or I think it does affect the games. Like, I don't, like, it's nowhere near what she's, like, making it out to be. And to be fair, to be honest with you, I do find it suspicious that she just refuses to play video of him speaking. Just take that into consideration when it comes to to your judgment as far as whether or not she is a grifter or not.
But now he's getting raked across the coals for some of the comments that he made, specifically that I am only successful on this platform because of my gender. And he even admits multiple times that he doesn't really know my content and he doesn't really know much about me, which if you don't know about the person you're talking about, why talk about them in the first place? I thought you were trying to be better. I thought that you were smarter than me, maybe do a little bit of research.
Again, he literally says that based off of what he's seen of you. Like, he literally said that. Again, she won't play the actual comment. That it's just something that I'm now noticing. That instead of just playing the content and responding to it, she's reading articles about YouTube videos. Like, what are we doing?
Search then. But because this has happened, he's made multiple responses that he's gotten ratioed on like this. You can dislike me because of what I said about Vara for my 2 encounters with her content attacking me. I sense her large audience is based on her being an attractive woman, but that is not misogyny. Lots of women and men are talented and ugly, pretty and useless, and pretty and talented. If I was making a statement about women in general, it would be misogyny, and I would never say or think such a thing. This is just me punching back at a person who punched first by claiming her most useful asset as it relates to her channel, in my opinion, is being a pretty woman, which is hilarious, given people are saying things like, David, just stop, man. For someone who claims to be virtuous and for all people, you're doubling down on this and it just gets worse. Vara is not successful because she's a woman. She just puts in the work. I put a lot of work into my channel, and I'm successful because I happen to have opinions that people agree with, and it's fine if people disagree with my opinions. At the end of every video, I say, give it a like if you enjoyed, a dislike if you didn't. People are not always going to agree, and that's perfectly fine. But I put in so much time and effort into my channel. I stream 80 hours a month. I stream 20 plus hours a week.
I mean, she keeps on saying this, but like, that just because you do that doesn't necessarily mean that you make good content or that it's insightful content or anything like that. Like, I'm just, to be clear. I mean, like, she keeps on saying that, but it doesn't make it true. And also, to be fair to her, it's a matter of opinion. There's not really like a good response to what David is saying. Like, it would literally just be her going like, you're wrong, my content is good actually, and it's just like, okay.
Put up, 2 to 4 videos a day. And yes, that happens to be on the state of the industry, but I'm talking about all different sorts of things. I'll talk about microtransactions, I'll talk about scams, I will talk about identity politics, and I will also talk about games that are successful. I'll talk about companies that are looking to acquire other companies like Sony and Katakawa. Like, I talk about so much stuff on this channel, and there's bound to be something for everyone, but if there's not, that's fine. You could just ignore my channel, though it doesn't seem like he's really capable of doing that given he's put up multiple videos, he's talked about content creators a plethora of times over.
What are you talking, like, you put out videos, like, you made a video responding to him. And then he responded to you, and then you responded to him, and you started the interaction. What are you talking about?
Over on X and on YouTube, which is funny given his major criticism of my channel is that I'm constantly spewing negativity, yet he has made multiple videos on YouTube grifters and just content creators like.
Well, I think his major criticism is that he just thinks that based on what he's seen of you, he just thinks you're wrong about things. That wasn't the major criticism of you. Again, remember, I'm just saying, I'm now really recognizing this part where she just like won't watch the content. She'll just give summaries of his content. And usually not what an honest person does, I feel like.
Myself, and they are earning him way more views than his other videos, so he's doing the very thing he claims to hate, which is just very, very funny to me. Though there are multiple content creators that are roasting him. Asmongold, this is how a 53-year-old man acts. If he at least was trying to have a conversation with the people he claims to dislike, and he was laying out his points clearly and concisely, people would not hate you so much, David. People would say, okay, you're entitled to your opinion, even though I disagree with it, but that's not what you're doing. There's other people like Sungrand Studios, God of War developer, suffers anti-female meltdown and attacks Vara Dark. Smash JT, God of War creator, attacks Vara Dark because she's too attractive. Side-scrollers, Vara Dark versus David, Jaffe as well. And David had just put up another video where he talks about how he has more thoughts on these content creators, and he mentions side-scrollers and Stuttering Craig and goes, and side-scrollers, Stuttering Craig, stumbling over his name, which is peak stupidity because he clearly knows who Stuttering Craig is. He's been on his show before, so it's either you are intentionally being stupid or maybe.
Wait, what? That's such a weird, like, wait, what?
It's a sign of cognitive decline. So I don't know, David, which is it? See, we could sit here and go back and forth with the insults all day, but all you are doing is proving that you are kind of an idiot. Let's keep it a buck. And this new video of his, my thoughts on these content creators, is getting ratioed yet again. 274 likes to 811 dislikes. Now, most of his video is just him rambling, but there's one specific part that I thought was particularly hilarious, which was him bringing up my channel. It really has to do with the content that goes up on it. So I'm just going to very quickly play this clip because it's all that really mattered to me out of that. But it just goes to show the type of person that David actually is.
But based on what she said about me, and frankly, based on if you go to her page, I mean, most of her shit is just mean-spirited, haha, fuck liberal.
Okay, her audio isn't great.
Tears, blah, blah, blah.
So he's talking about
Vara, we couldn't hear what he had to say.
how most of, my video
bro, hold on. Now I'm going into full-on schizo conspiracy mode. Did she like make sure that David's audio was going to be way lower so that her audience couldn't hear what he said? Okay, probably not. Probably just a mishap.
Are negative, everything's negative, but he's ignoring the 20 plus hours a week that I stream, which is about 80 hours in November. And the fact that I do that every single month, my content does not just revolve around talking about the news within the industry. The majority of the content that I create is via live streams, and I play.
Isn't this like a second channel though, or is this all on the same channel? I'm actually kind of curious. Yeah, I mean, this might be true, but also, I mean, if you just look at the viewership, I mean, I mean, we can see where the bread is buttered, or so they say. And it's like, yeah, but like then when you look at, I mean, like when you look at the end of the day, like this is like the premier edited content that gets edited down. Like you can say, but look at all my live streams. It reminds me of like, you know, Fresh and Fit. I don't know if you know if you know who they are, but like they'll often be like, what, we're not all about hating women. We do like financial advice. And then you look at the financial advice, like nobody watches it. So it's just like let's be real about the type of content that we're making here, okay, lady? Let's just be for real, no cap on a stack.
Tons of different video games: Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Dustborn. I play Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Like any major release, I do try to live stream. I have hundreds of video games that I've streamed on the channel, but he's talking about how, you know, look at my content, everything's negative, even though the majority of the content that I create is in live streams, and that's me just playing video games. And he can't claim to not know that I live stream because he came into one of my live streams, was donating, asking me to bring him.
And it's also like you can do live streams, but also make that other content in order to appease the audience that wants it. Like you can do both. Like this isn't even like an actual refutation about what he said. Or I don't know. Did he make the claim that literally the only type of content that you make is that type of content? And also, I mean, if we're going to be autistic here, your little quote here says, look at her videos. These are live streams. These aren't like edited videos.
Him on a live stream, so he knows that I live stream game.
And this is also just like her like fixating on this like one point is also like, I don't know, like, okay. like her being like, this is his primary criticism. It's like, is it?
I mean, he completely derailed that gaming
like I think his primary criticism is that you're dumb. I don't know.
stream, and it is what it is. I mean, that was basically a night that was drama because he went in there and he made a big fuss. Though he knows that I live stream on my channel, he intentionally did not show the live tab because it would not fit the narrative that he was trying to push, which is so stupid. And I mean, everybody on the internet's roasting him like I've said. Facts don't matter to habitual liars. I think he kind of likes you. Is this new? Is he still doubling down after you kicked him in the dirt? I mean, he's continuing. Jaffe has really lost the plot, going on over to his own video. People are saying things like she only has a channel because of her hair and her looks and her gender. That's not sexist, dude. You just said she only has the job because of her gender. That is textbook sexism. You didn't attack her character. You attacked immutable factors like her gender. How are you a grown man and not...
Well, to be fair, he also used the thing that about her being attractive. There could be unattractive women. Just saying.
realizing that is sexist. By
He also like says that she's dumb.
your logic, the only reason Alana Pierce has an audience is because of her looks. Is this really what you want to be doing with your life at your age? So it is what it is.
It's also like she literally addresses Alana Pierce in that same video. Yeah, see, like, I don't know, man. I'm like, I would always just be very suspicious about these types of content creators that don't show what the other guy says and just like describe what is being said. I would always be suspicious about these type of people.
is he's continuing to try to make pieces of content to ultimately make money, gain a little bit of relevancy, which I understand it must be tough for him going from the top of the video game industry to not making games in years, but I will be interested to see if he actually makes any other statements or tries to cause drama with other content creators. It seems that he's not slowing down anytime soon.
Alright guys, so because I'm shameless, we're now going to watch Asmongold. We're not going to watch this entire video, we're just going to watch a little bit of it, okay? Let's go.
Dragon Age. Let me clarify. Oh man, he really. Oh, he put his shit on protected. Oh, he blocked me. Oh my god, I didn't even know this. But it doesn't matter anymore. I'm getting through, bitch. Why is it all these old baldies with beards? They're getting mad like this. Who is this guy? If I were killed this game before it even came out, yeah, people actually think that I killed Dragon Age.
Well, hope you had a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate. I did sit down after our stuff we did today and
This one's worse than mine. See? I told you I could get worse.
read some of the comments on my last video.
Oh, wait, what? I didn't watch this video. Okay, interesting.
Which seems to have upset some people, which is fine. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things for what it's worth. Number one, I was responding to somebody in the chat asking, did I think that the social media grifter types had harmed and been the cause?
I love how he says it's a grifter. Like, what do you think? Like, I don't think this. Like, why would I be lying about what I think about this? Like, again, it's like the moment that somebody uses that word, that's one of the words. Like, I hear that word, I say, okay, never mind. I don't need to think about this seriously anymore.
Of Dragon Age Veilguard not doing that well at sales. And so I was trying to direct question, and my answer is, though, yeah, I think they contributed. So I wanted to be clear on that. That's where it came from.
Yeah, obviously, negative feedback and negative press about a game is going to hurt the game. That's crazy. Wow.
Do you know what's really fun? Making a website on Wix.
Hey, where?
True.
I think that the people who have not played the game and think that if they tune into a certain streamer that I would call
Just say my fucking name. Just say.
What? Wait, what? He's not talking about Asmongold. Wait, what? Wait, Asmongold thinks that he's talking about him? What? Okay, again, guys, we've watched everything that he said, except for this video, I guess. Did at any point you guys think that he's talking about Asmongold? What?
Me. I'm not going to get offended. A certain who could it possibly be?
Does Asmongold think he's the only streamer that talked about Dragon Age the Veilguard? What? Bro, what? Wait, what is this?
What is this? I'm Voldemort, man. Like, what is this?
I do know what grift means, by the way, but I'll address that in a moment.
Oh, he will. Great.
If they tune to certain streamers or Twitter people or whatever, there are people that are selling a narrative that, as someone who has played 22 hours of the game, I don't think that narrative is there, that this is some...
Okay, well, I have played 71 hours of the game, and so I overrule you. I'm right, you're wrong. Play the game more. You lose. Done. It's so easy. Easiest disregard of my life. And that's his rules, by the way. I'm not playing by my rules. I think he's entitled to his opinion, so am I. I'm just saying by his rules.
You know, you can't take 2 steps forward in the game without hearing about some kind of...
It's also like, wait. Oh my gosh. Wait. He thinks that if you've played 22 hours of a game. So David Jaffe's position is he's played 22 hours of the game. You've played 0 hours of the game. He has a certain perspective of the game, and he feels that somebody who hasn't played any of the game probably can't come to a conclusion about the game. I think once you've played like 20 hours of the game, you can probably like reach certain broad conclusions about the game that you're playing. Like, I feel like the vast majority of games, like once you get like after a certain point, like 15 to 20 hours, you probably got a gist of the game. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Asmongold is like the greatest like commentator guy. I'm just gonna be real.
Kind of LGBT quote agenda or propaganda. I mean, I'm 22 hours in. I really haven't. There's nothing in there. There are things in there like that if you search for them, and there may be things coming up where you can't avoid them if you.
Yeah, they forcefully make your character gay and trans. You can't get out of it. There's no way to get out of it. They make you gay. They say you have to be gay now. And if you don't, you have to restart the game. It's just the way it is.
You could avoid them. But for 22 hours, I haven't really seen anything other than you can romance if you choose, or at least you can try to. I haven't tried, so I don't know what the response would be. Same-sex characters as your main character. And I think, or I know at the beginning, but I don't really know what it means. There's some kind of weird language about do you want to be a trans character or not, or something in some choice, which I didn't understand, so I just, Anyway, point is...
So you don't even know what you're talking about? Just when you put the mirror down whenever you start the game. It's like an hour into the game.
I do think a lot of people have been sold a vision of the game that isn't accurate, but... So in that sense, yeah, my comments stand. I'm not walking even back. Why would I? But I do want to clarify, though, two things that I do think, and I've talked about this numerous times since I've started playing the game on different videos, but it wasn't included in any meaningful way in that video. So I do want to address two things. Number one, the only other Dragon Age game I played was Inquisition, and I really liked it. Didn't finish it. Obviously, won Game of the Year 2013, 2014. A lot of people loved it. And this game is very different, obviously, in art style and tone. And when I
You
mentioned
chose to be gay with the mirror? Guys, I hate to break the fourth wall, but I did that on purpose. I made my character trans, and I acted like I didn't know. I did know. Of course, I was farming. I don't like to break... Of course. Of course, I know that. It's a joke. Everybody thought it was funny.
A lot of more hardcore Dragon Age fans are like, oh, that's kind of what they do. Dragon Age Origins, different than 2 different than Inquisition. So I assume that was like when we did Twist Metal 2, which was totally cartoony, and then we went to Twist Metal Black, which was totally M-rated. Maybe it's like that's just what they do. But I get that if you came to Dragon Age Veilguard and you were expecting, either because EA had marketed it initially in some way and then they kind of feel like they're pulling the wool over your eyes, I don't know. But
I feel like he doesn't even like it.
Would you like to have healthier gums and cleaner teeth? Waterpick Cordless Advance transforms the power of water with precision.
Because he's like trying to talk around the fact that like he can see why people don't like it, but just say it, man. You're not saying a lot, yeah.
So if you came to the game and
see, this is like okay, I think I want to stop here just because this video has been going on for a while. This is why I feel like there's no winning with a lot of these people, because it's like I'd like to think that a lot of these people are coming into these situations in good faith, but like here's David Jaffe literally going like, hey, I can understand if you have this perspective because of this, and this. And then Asmongold can't even go like, oh, okay, at least he's being like kind of open-minded here. He's just like, oh no, I don't think he likes the game, which is like, what? Like that has nothing to do with what he just said. It's just pure bad faith, I feel like, at every turn. I don't know. Okay, you know what? I'll try not to clickbait you guys too much. We'll watch a little bit more.
and you felt, I thought we were getting a Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, dark fantasy, super serious thing, that is clearly not what this is. So I'm like, yeah, I've never had a problem with somebody saying, I don't like the game because of that.
Okay.
They can say whatever they want. They have a right to hate it for all kinds of reasons. There's too much purple in it. I don't care. But I'm just saying that is, I think, from people who have spent time with the game, you're like, oh, well, there's no doubt it's a different tonality. The other thing is the writing. Even in the video, a lot of people were critical to me or of me about, I say the barf scene and the push-up scene, even though I agree with the messaging of what they're trying to communicate, terribly written, really cringy and stupid.
Everybody knows that.
The overall game, I like
Let's get back to the part where you're talking about me. Let's get back to the important part.
Writing of...
He's not talking about you. What? Bro, like that's... Oh my gosh. I'm going to be honest. I've never once... Like, I've seen a decent amount of Asmongold's content. I've never once gotten the impression that he's, like, full of himself. But this is crazy. This is wacky.
Of the narrative. I like that you've got this... What's his name? The elf guy who's kind of a god who's living in Rook's mind. Like, he's taking up resonance in his subconscious.
He's on his mind. He's in the Fade. That's not what happened.
And he has to meditate, commune with them. I think that's pretty cool. I think there's a number of side quests that are really cool. But yes, I said when I started playing it, it feels like a CW show. Not all throughout. It does kind of dip into some pathos and darkness at times. But it absolutely feels like a young adult fantasy novel. And it's a little too... Everything's great. It's got a little... I like the high adventure tone of it. But I do think
it's cringe. Just say it's cringe and it's for kids. Like, just say it.
What is he like? What? Like, okay, no offense, but like... You, like, David Jaffe is literally coming here saying that, like, yeah, I don't think Vara Dark is, like, very intelligent. And if his interactions with Vara Dark were anything like Asmongold's level of commentary here, I feel like I can kind of understand this. I feel like I can kind of understand that reaction, because it's like, Asmongold, like, he's giving like a nuanced opinion on the game, and Asmongold is literally just being like, just say it bad. It's either bad or good. someone can have nuanced feeling about game. It's only bad or good. It's only cringe or not cringe. It's like, bro, like, what is happening here?
Okay, you're a 40-year-old balding man. Probably most of the people watching this are other 40-year-old balding men. Just fucking...
Okay, well, to be fair, I think he took it on the chin as well. Honestly, I think David Jaffe is in his 50s, so that was a compliment, if anything.
Say it. We all know it. You don't have to pussyfoot around. Say it.
It's a little youngish, which again, it's fine.
Yeah,
That's not why I love the game. And again, I'm making a distinction between the style of writing and performances and the actual narrative, which I think, the plot of what they're trying, the elven gods who have, wanting to rip the veil open even more and bring out the monsters and take over and some neat stuff.
22 hours, huh?
There. But pointing that complaint, the tone, I get the complaint of this isn't the tone we were sold, or that even though Dragon Age changes game to game, this is too much of a change. I get, and again, you have a right to have a valid opinion about, I didn't like the gameplay. I like the gameplay. The combat's
It's not about you. None of this is about you. What are you talking about?
pretty simple so far. It's not very hard. It's flashy. It's fun. It's balanced with leveling up your character. It's balanced.
He hasn't fought the Hydra. He didn't fight the Hydra. That's why he's saying this.
With I like the exploration. It feels like a really cool, fun adventure that you're on. So, but yeah, the stuff I was talking about specifically in that video were the people who were going off about the LGBT stuff and. Again, you have a right. I don't agree with it. I think it's short-sighted. I think it's ignorant when you think there's some kind of, let's just say that you and I, if you are one of those people, we don't agree on the motivations behind why you are seeing more progressive ideas in your media.
What's the reason?
A lot of people are into this whole conspiracy thing, and I'm just like, that's not what's happening, in my opinion. But
what is happening? Never explained.
Yeah, you have a right not to like it. But if you're going to be cruel about it online and talk about how mean, or be mean, talk about mean things about the trans community or the LGBT community.
So you think Tosh is bad? That means you hate trans people? That's crazy. I didn't know that. What?
Is that what he said? Is that what he said? He literally said... David literally just said, if you are part of the people that say mean things about the trans community online, that is what he literally just said. And then Asmongold, in taking, the few brain cells that he has left after the mold in his house has just eaten away at what is inside that cranium, he was like, so if you hate a character, that means that you hate all trans people, but amazing.
Right not to like it, but if you're going to be cruel about it online and talk about how mean, or be mean, talk about mean things about the trans community or the LGBT community.
So you think Tosh is bad? That means you hate trans people? That's crazy. I didn't know that.
That's literally not what he said. Okay, I'm actually going to end the video off here. That's crazy. That's crazy. What? All right, yeah. Listen, pretty long video. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Unlike the Very Dark person, I actually tried to listen what everybody had to say and respond and whatnot. So you should be able to tell me if I'm wrong about anything. If I missed something that somebody said, in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.